Doy la palabra a la delegación de Pakistán.
Thank you, Mr. President. We commend Panama's presidency for organizing this open debate. And I would also like to thank SRSG Pramila Patton for her briefing. We concur with her basic thrust. It is time to open, not close doors. And it is time to enhance, not cut down on action and resources, including for peacekeeping. We also take note of the statement by Madam Iftikhar Ahmad of Darfur Advocacy Group. And I'm sure any such dedicated briefing on any other situation, as she also mentioned, would be equally somber. Mr. President, this year marks the 25th anniversary of Resolution 1325, which is a moment to reflect on our journey and to recommit to the women, peace, and security agenda. Regrettably, the Secretary General's latest report paints a grim picture. Alarming trends in the shape of escalating conflicts, record displacement, rising militarization, all of which expose civilian populations, particularly women and girls, to widespread conflict-related sexual violence. Sexual violence is being used as a weapon of war, torture, terrorism, political repression, and as a tool to consolidate illegal occupation of territories, as well as exploitation of natural resources. It must be condemned with one voice and resolutely addressed. The perpetrators must face justice because impunity only emboldens abuse. The problem is most acute in situations of foreign occupation, where the full scale of the systematic repression and abuse is often masked by lack of transparency, access, and reporting, and where immunity laws shield occupying forces from accountability. These cases must not escape international scrutiny. They demand urgent action from the Council and the SRSG's office. Mr. President, a glaring example is in the occupied Palestinian territories, where thousands face violence, forced displacement, and starvation at the hand of the occupying power. Despite the limited access granted to UN monitors, the SG's report has documented incidents of rape, sexual violence, prolonged forced nudity, and repeated strip searches inflicted in degrading ways. This Council cannot turn away from such systematic abuse. Accountability is imperative. It is not understandable why this appalling situation did not find its place in the SG's reports in all those previous years. And while the SG's report conveys the severity and brutality of several situations of conflict-related sexual violence, by its own admission, and I quote, it does not purport to reflect the global scale and prevalence of these crimes, unquote. Crimes which also exist in other situations elsewhere around the world. Similar patterns are seen in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where sexual violence has long been deployed to punish and humiliate communities. There is documented evidence of Indian occupation forces using rape as a means of targeting women who demand self-determination or support and sympathize with those struggling for that inalienable right, a right that has been guaranteed to them by this Council in its multiple resolutions on Jammu and Kashmir. This ongoing violence and abuse has been corroborated over the years such as by the 2018 and 2019 reports of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, as well as by international media, civil society, and international human rights organizations. And according to one recent report, close to 10,000 women and girls have gone missing in the Indian-occupied Kashmir between 2019 and 2021 alone. We therefore call on the SRSG to also pay attention to this situation. Mr. President, Pakistan calls for a comprehensive response. First, enhancing meaningful participation of women throughout the peace continuum, not least because of their critical role in understanding the needs and vulnerabilities of women and girls in conflict and post-conflict situations. Second, adopting a survivor-centered approach that empowers them and restores their dignity and rights. Third, paying special attention to situations of foreign occupation that often witness the worst forms of sexual violence that go unreported or are most difficult to monitor, record, and prosecute. Fourth, ensuring accountability and ending impunity. And finally, tackle the root causes by addressing unresolved disputes that perpetuate cycles of violence and human suffering. Mr. President, Pakistan has been a steadfast supporter of global efforts to shield and protect the most vulnerable from the effects of armed conflict. Our professional peacekeepers, including our women blue helmets, continue to set high standards, standing at the front lines, protecting civilians, and upholding UN values in some of the most dangerous and complex conflict situations around the world. Sexual violence is among the gravest crimes against human dignity. We must take urgent and resolute action to put an end to these abhorrent practices and the impunity that sustains them. I thank you.
Agradezco a la delegación de Pakistán su declaración.